50 seconds of previously ons. Show waits until episode 4 to get to where I wanted it to be at the start of episode 1. Doesn't the show realize I know what's best for me? Does Viltrumite facial hair grow in at different rates? This is a pretty full beard, so shouldn't his hair also be a lot longer? And in the mustache region, shouldn't he be rocking more of a Sam Elliott instead of a Tom Selleck? Yes, I do enjoy asking the important questions. The YouTubenians would enslave our planet if we played the music, but you can 100% chalk up another melancholy song plays over conflicted hero for maximum dramatude cliche. No. Bad Omni-Man. You don't go out slowly in a black hole after being evil. Didn't you watch The Eternals? That was a trick question. Nobody watched it. But if you had, you'd see bad guys have to fly into the sun after they've realized the errors of their actions. I can't decide if this is an Omni Ex Machina or a Deus Thrax Machina, but either way, there's some convenient as timing for all involved. Having more giant arches in your city than St. Louis. Come on, aliens. That's the city's one claim to fame. You're going to make St. Louis feel bad. They already lost their NFL team. Now you want to steal this away from them too?
Won't you stay? Tell us your name. Where you come from.
Nolan, who was previously going to end his life, suddenly changes his mind after finding a new planet to worship him for his good deeds. See, this is exactly what Phoebe was talking about with Sesame Street. There are no unselfish good deeds.
Thraxans told me that they needed my help.
They do need your help.
Why?
It's complicated.
It will actually end up being incredibly not complicated, but this bullshit lead burying will continue for all of the some time because eons ago some genius decided it builds tension when in fact it just builds annoying.
Mark, look, I made a mistake.
No, a mistake is getting the wrong brand of ketchup, forgetting a birthday, or inviting Hawkeye to join the Avengers. I haven't done a Hawkeye jab in a while. Feels good.
I'll get you a ship home, but there's something you need to see first.
Are we still having this argument? I swear this entire opening scene is a you better come take a look at this cliche wrapped in a blanket of Skip rolling down a hill. Get the f*** on with it.
I didn't conquer the Thraxans. They asked me to be their emperor.
Britain, circa any time before World War I, and possibly after. Really, Bug Lady? Did she honestly think the best way to introduce herself to her new stepson who doesn't know she exists was by tonguing his dad?
My husband's told me so much about you.
F***ing what? Why would she open with my husband? Did Nolan prep her by saying, I want this to go as terribly as possible, so if we could do a tongue tango and then immediately address me as husband, that would be great. I really want to traumatize the shit out of him. It's the Earth way.
What the is going on?
Did I misspeak?
No, I think you mis-tongued.
I know this comes as a surprise.
Oh, I'm surprised. You're married to Mom.
Technically, he's widowered to your mom, Mark. Nolan is dead as far as the Earth is concerned. Not that I'm in any way condoning the extramarital mandibling here, of course.
You gotta be f***ing kidding me.
Wait, I thought the Invincible title was supposed to fit into the build-up and work as its own sentence, right? Because you gotta be invincible f***ing kidding me doesn't make any f***ing sense. We still can't play the tune, but this is the second melancholy song plays over melancholy character for maximum melancholyitude. And if we get a third, I may actually just play the damn thing and welcome that swift in from the YouTubenians. Coffee shops that are just called coffee.
20 years. And none of it was real. None of it. You weren't real. Oh no.
For the first time, we know exactly who's the original and who's the inferior.
You're telling me you never thought to get an ear piercing before cloning yourself? Or a tattoo, jewelry, or even a different f***ing costume? How did the Maulers make the easy part of cloning the hard part? Oh, f*** off with this. Everything else was vaporized in the explosion, including metal. You're not going to convince me that this tiny piece of plastic and glass survived, was missed by the cleanup crew, but then found so easily by... Who's this again?
You can show up, not show up, sleep in. It's like they're...
treating us like adults? You know you're paying to be here, right?
This dialogue is brought to you by the Get Off My Lawn Guild of Old Men Yelling at Clouds. But also, kids.
It's super freeing. Like wearing pants with no underwear.
Comparing wasting a class you've spent thousands of dollars to attend to going commando. You can go commando for free, my dude. It doesn't cost a dime. Now, if your pants slip and fall while you're jogging in the park, that's going to cost you a few $100s in fines. My plea bargain dictates I cannot tell you how I know this.
Your treehouse is like miles away. Do you need somewhere to crash?
Did Amber forget about Eve's ability to, well, everything?
You just replaced us. Except, bugs.
Thing Ant said to Pixar in 1998 somehow makes it into the script.
We're only allowed to procreate with genetically similar species.
Well, isn't that oddly specific and amazingly convenient to the plot? Why would they allow any sort of interbreeding? Isn't their whole thing about being the master race?
By now, Viltrum knows I've left my post. They'll track me, and they'll find this planet.
But you knew that would happen when you decided to stay, become their monarch, and make a baby, right? You doomed all the people who are going to die later in this episode with your boner, Nolan, and I just can't forgive that. Doom boners are an unforgivable sin.
What I did on Earth was unforgivable.
You see, the problem with doing the pause and then dropping an Invincible name card in almost every episode is I expect that for all dramatic pauses. So when Nolan paused there, I expected the show to cut to an Invincible title card. So here's a sin for not giving me that. Or for giving me a Pavlovian tendency to think that was coming. You can decide what the sin is for.
And now I'm asking you to help me save them. They're good people.
Am I the only one struggling to get on board with Nolan here? I know this is just the start of his redemptive arc, but why does he suddenly think that being a good person makes a f***ing difference? Did he not think humans were good people? Does he not think Debbie and Mark are good people?
How can I help? I couldn't even beat you.
We can start training right away.
What's Nolan's plan here? How can he possibly hope to fight off an army of Viltrumites with just 2 Viltrumites? This is like bashing 2 rocks against 100 identical rocks and expecting the first 2 rocks to win. I had a very dull childhood.
No, it's too soon.
I agree. It is too soon. Mark's been here for what, 20 minutes? And the Viltrumites just showed up? Can you imagine if Mark had been delayed by 2 hours? He'd have arrived to find a massacred planet and we'd have missed out on all the family drama. And now I suddenly wish Mark had been delayed by 2 hours.
We'll be safe here.
They will not.
At first, it was hard to know him. He was so hurt, so closed off after what happened on Earth.
If you think he was hurt after what happened on Earth, wait until I tell you about the people of, well, Earth. Also, I'd love to know how Nolan explained what happened on Earth in a way that didn't immediately repulse Andressa. I'm guessing it must have gone something like, yes, I was going to kill and/or enslave a planet called Earth, but you should have seen how many bugs they kill every day. They build entire industries on it. Honestly, they had it coming.
Nolan made another child?
Mark I can understand, but why would he immediately assume Bug Boy is Nolan's as well? Do Viltrumites have DNA test vision? The slicey hand chop might be the superpower I understand the least out of any superhero franchise. If Nolan's nails or fingers can cut through even Viltrumite skin, why isn't this his opening move? Why would you ever throw a punch when you can just as easily serve up some slice and die?
Shooting, shooting, shooting.
Excitement? If you ask Hollywood, yes. Slamming your opponent into a wall instead of just surrounding him in a ball and cutting off all the oxygen until he passes out. Or turning him into a banana, or literally anything that matter-converting powers will allow. And doing all that back on the base instead of in public. Come on, Eve, that bridge deserved better. Oh, and the civilians. Yeah, them too. I guess we'll just straight up gloss over how Donald has Cecil's password. Why would we care about something like that? Also, this is entirely too much typing for the word Cecil.
I'm not supposed to feel this way! How is this better?
Look, redeeming Nolan in any meaningful way is going to be an uphill struggle, but somehow, watching him sincerely battle with and be confused by the notion that he can feel remorse and guilt is kind of convincing me that it might actually be possible. For now. Listen, I'm all for variety, especially when Viltrumite battles usually equate to flying, punching really hard, and surviving being punched really hard. But what the f*** is up with the stabby ponytail? Is the spike made out of her hair? Or is she accessorized with a blade that's able to hurt Viltrumite skin? And if it's the latter, shouldn't they have brought more of those to fight the mighty Nolan?
I never break my promises.
I'd be more inclined to believe you if I hadn't watched you leave Alan alive in the last episode.
If you're not trying to kill her, you're going to die.
This pep talk suddenly makes Mark a better fighter, because now his intent is to kill instead of disable? But I don't get it. He knows how strong Viltrumites are. Was he honestly worried about accidentally killing one of them if he used too much force? I feel like he could go absolute ham and still be several degrees of moral ambiguity away from having to deal with his conscience. Azula isn't blasting Mark with lightning in this scene. Just an entire buttload of do any of these injuries even matter? Who cares? Because yay punching things of gratuitous meaninglessness.
Don't worry. It's over.
I'll bet you one intestine-defying supersonic chiropractic adjustment it isn't, Captain Premature Celebration Man.
Next time you kill somebody, make sure they're dead.
To be fair to Nolan, the script made it look like you were really super dead. Like, super deceased. 100% not of this world. Absolute fatality. You were a former Viltrumite. Definitively moved to the past participle. Ceased to be... You get the idea. Also, here's a retroactive Lucan survives this long enough to get a sin.
If you change your mind...
I won't.
Because very little of interest happens in this scene, I decided to ponder that Cecil and his organization have access to personal teleporting tech that could be used to revolutionize how humans exist and live and, you know, how they haven't. What in the bland motel room art is up with these framed photos? We got 2 pictures of flowers and then a nondescript aerial view of some river. Did Debbie forget to put family photos in these? Did the animators not want to draw any more pictures of Debbie, Nolan, and Mark? I need answers. He's still alive?
My books. Read my books, Mark.
We get it, Nolan. You're an author. Jeez. There's a time and place to promote your novels, and that's when you need to feel important and impress the extended family you hate at the Thanksgiving dinner table. That's it. That's Melancholy Song the Third, and I've had it. That is altogether too many melancholies. How am I supposed to enjoy Christmas? Strike me down, oh mighty YouTubenians. Look, I appreciate Invincible tackling the rare issue of collateral damage heroes cause and Eve struggling with guilt about that. But what is this ending showing us exactly? Is she going to move back home and let her father emotionally abuse her again until Mark or someone comes to pull her back into superheroing? Because I think I'd rather take the collateral damage.
Thank God.
Donald seems relieved that he's bleeding, which I guess means he thought he might be a robot, but why can't he just be a robot that bleeds? How does he know that's even real blood? Does he not understand how living tissue over a metal endoskeleton works? Oh, Donald would make an amazing Terminator. Wait, what the f did I just see? Did he just shake off 100% of that blood from his hand? Why can't we see more of that superpower?
Why stop at one idiot clone when I could have so many more?
Or you could stop making idiot clones entirely and try to work on a way to make them smarter. No? Too attached to the clone argues with identical clone about who's better bit? Cool. Maybe it'll get funny by season 4.
Sometimes things are the way they are for a good reason.
You can tell me that all you want, but it will not stop me from sitting you for splitting an 8-episode season into 2 halves when I've already had to wait 2 years between seasons. How dare you persevere through a pandemic and strikes and still make me wait for your high-quality content, you monsters.
I'm sorry. Was that your auntie?
You can throw television sets, diamond rings, or even your worst enemies into a black hole, and all the black hole will remember is a total mess.
Do you want to build a snowman?
Like wearing pants with no underwear.
The only thing between him and us is a thin layer of gabardine.
I was wondering what would break first, your spirit or your body.
Why you little boy must die!